So if you're here now, you're probably in that very painful, difficult stage in your relationship where you're trying to decide whether you should stay or whether you should go. That can be really, really hard. And it can be really confusing, and you can not know, you can't see the wood from the trees. You're overthinking it, you're overthinking constantly, and you're just in a state of confusion. If you can, do stay with me until the end, because at the end we will do a summary, and we will we're going to work through on this video 5 key elements and sum them up at the end, and that should give you an indicator, a helpful tool to understanding whether this is a relationship worth fighting for or whether it's time to call it a day. It's often really hard because sometimes love is just not enough. We can love someone, but sometimes it's not enough. But the thing is, we can continue to love a person even if we aren't having a romantic involvement with them anymore, okay? So just remember that, okay? Sometimes in relationships, we are chasing the person that we first met. We are chasing the person that they could be, or we know they can be. I know he can be so kind and wonderful, and I know he can. There are times when he is amazing. Just to clarify very quickly, I am saying he. I'm only saying he because it's easier than me saying he, she, they, okay? So I'm just saying he, but it refers to any gender, okay? Now, when we first meet someone, of course, they are showing us their best bits, aren't they? They're not going to come in and be all irritable and frustrated and cross and angry, because you're not going to stick around, okay? Yeah, so that honeymoon period phase, you're not really seeing the person, warts and all, okay? But you know that, yeah, we know that, yeah. But as a relationship continues, and this can be years down the line, those good moments can become few and far between. But those good moments can be the hook that keeps you there, because you're almost grieving for that good person that you know they're there. But are they really? Yes, of course there are people, of course there are people who have wonderful qualities, but if the good is less than the bad, where does that leave you? So think back, how have the last 6 months of your relationship been? Don't go back further, just the last 6 months. And can you see yourself continuing on for another 6 months in the same way? Again, I understand how hard it is when you are in a relationship. You may have children together, you may be deeply ingrained in one another's families, it's not as easy as just walking away. In fact, walking away can seem like just a mammoth mountain to climb, which if you're already low on mental energy can feel impossible. That's why it's good to get clarity. It can be so confusing when we overthink and our thoughts are telling us this, that and the other. Something I remember reading years ago, when I had a little dabble on Mumsnet, I remember someone writing in a comment, if your daughter came to you, and told you that she was being treated the way that you were being treated, what would you say to her? Now that is actually really, really important, because so often, especially if, and I hope to God you're not in this case, but if you're in abusive relationships, it can be really hard to love yourself because you are being put down or shouted at or just generally worn down. It can be hard to love yourself, but obviously you love your child. So the same rules apply, yeah? Or a friend, a good friend. How would you advise a good friend? This is a really good way of learning to understand whether you should stay or go. I do understand it's very easy, you say, when you're talking to friends and you're telling them, oh, he did this and he did that, and they say, oh gosh, don't put up with that, just go. And you think, it's not that easy. So write down the things that you find difficult in your relationship. List them. Don't add emotion to them, just list them. For example, I get sworn at. Everything's left for me to do, etc. Yeah? Write them down. And then read them to yourself as if they were your friend telling you this. Okay? You're not putting your emotion and your thoughts, you're addressing it as if it was your friend or your daughter. And write down replies to how they should react. And once you're replying to someone that you love and you care for, and you're advising them, this person that you love, what they should do, another great tool. Yeah, it really is. I think some people find it very difficult to reflect. Because let's face it, none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. And even in a relationship where perhaps one person is making a lot of mistakes, it doesn't mean that the other person is mistake-free. We are all capable of not getting things right. But if you are bringing your partners, if you are talking to your partner and you are telling them, I can't cope with this. This is damaging to me. I need us to work together to sort this out. If they get defensive, if they are unable to reflect on their relationship and what they are doing, then again, that is a very good indicator. Because if you love someone, you are going to want to try, aren't you? You're going to want to try. So maybe speak to them, tell them, express what you feel. And you don't have to tell them this, but you can give yourself a 90-day limit. I'm going to tell them this. And I'm going to give them a chance to act. Because inevitably what will happen, and we often see you have marriages that go on for years, and then after 20 years, boom, suddenly one of them, the flick switches, I'm out of here. They've had enough. Yeah? But you don't want to get to that point, okay, where you literally cannot take it any longer, okay? Okay. What should love look like? I mentioned this in another video, yeah? Because maybe sometimes we can say to ourselves, well, you know what, no one's perfect. You know, my friend's husband, he does this. My other friend, his wife, she behaves like this and that. No relationship is perfect. I just need to I need to deal with it. Yeah, I just need to put up with it. But what are you putting up with? Yeah? Again, I've talked about non-negotiables. Okay? So for example, with me, yeah, I set standards for myself when I am in a relationship, and I don't waver on those standards. I am faithful. I am honest. I am trustworthy, and I am reliable. Okay? So those are standards I set for myself. Now, obviously, we can't set those standards for someone else. We can't tell someone, these are the things I want you to be. But we can expect a certain standard from other people. And if other people aren't matching our standards, and they really are something that we feel very strongly about, then we should let them go. Yeah, because otherwise you're never going to, it's never going to work. It's like I say with love, when you come into a relationship, I like to use the analogy of cups. Yeah, you both have cups of love. And if one person, if their cup is only a little bit full because they're wounded, they have abandonment issues, they've, I don't know, previous relationship problems, and they're coming into a relationship wounded, and you are having to pour out of your cup into theirs, your cup's going to go down. This is another really good indicator of when it's time to think, I think I should go. When you are feeling exhausted, relationships should not exhaust you. Love should not exhaust you. Yeah? They shouldn't have you so tired that you can't even think straight. Two people in union together, they should be lifting each other up. They should be trying to help get the best out of that person. They should want to see their significant other shine. And if you're not getting that, then that is concerning. It's really hard. It's really hard. And like I said, there are so many reasons, children, family, so many reasons why you also question whether you should stay or whether you should go. Some people might be afraid of being alone. Often you will hear people say when they have left a relationship that was dysfunctional, I felt more alone when I was with them than I feel now. Now I'm a single person. If you are not in the right relationship, you will feel alone and isolated. Don't be afraid of being alone. Being alone can be the most wondrous thing. You will give yourself healing time. Yeah, you will need to heal if you're leaving a relationship. It can take a long time. But you can discover yourself. All those things that you were beaten down on, they're no longer there. And it's a wonderful period of self-discovery. And think that when you have healed and when you feel like this whole wonderful person again, which you may not have felt like for many years, then you might meet someone also who has been through similar. Yeah, often if we're in second relationships, then other people too have been through that. And they have also learnt lessons. And you can embark on something beautiful. But don't stay because you're frightened of being alone. Yeah? So, if you need to have a checklist, okay, let's go through what the points are. Number one, how has the last 6 months been? Use that as an indicator. Don't just sort of in your head go to the happy times and think, I know they can exist. Yeah, just go through the last 6 months and what that has felt like to you. Advise yourself as if you were talking to your best friend or to your daughter. Advise from a place of love. Okay? So that's number 2. Number 3, don't fear being alone. Because if you are in a relationship that isn't working, the likelihood is you are already alone. Number 4, how are you feeling? Are you feeling depleted? Are you feeling emotionally exhausted, emotionally drained? Because if you are, and if you are because of what you are experiencing in your relationship, that is a very good indicator. Okay. 5, sorry. 5. Does your partner, do they encourage you to grow as a person? Do they celebrate your wins? Yeah, are they genuinely pleased for you when something good happens? Are they supportive? Will they rush to take care of the kids so you can go and do something that is going to improve you and your life? Yeah? Will they be defensive and try and knock you down? So look through those points, and I would say if 3 of those points you think, that's what's happening to me, then maybe you need to make that difficult choice. Sometimes we put off something because it looks too hard. Yeah? Sometimes we think the whole thought, I'm already exhausted, the thought of going through a breakup and all that entails is so exhausting to me that I'm not sure that I can do it. But that's only looking in the short term. Yeah? We need to look to the long term. Yeah? If you can get through this bit now, think how wonderful that bit will be. If you are experiencing difficulties in your relationship, I am truly sorry, yeah, because I do know how confusing, how isolating, how draining that can be. It's horrible, yeah, especially as you will probably still love that person. That's another thing I didn't mention, is guilt. We can feel guilty. We can feel guilty that we are making a decision for ourselves. Yeah? Guilt. Okay, sometimes guilt can be useful. Yeah, if we've done something that's really not right. Yeah, feel guilty about that. Yeah, helps us sort of grow. But guilt is not a good emotion to have. You are not responsible for another person's happiness or well-being. You are not. They are responsible. We can only be in control of ourselves. We can only be in control of ourselves. It is not our responsibility to control another person's happiness. And it shouldn't be. Often you find, I don't know whether I certainly know I've heard people say this. They'll say, oh, I don't know how he lives with her. She's a nightmare and she treats him so badly and he puts up with it. She's so lucky to have him. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard people say that. Yeah. Often people pleasers or givers can come across takers. Yeah, it's often the case, isn't it? Yeah, you're attracting the opposite. Yeah, and when you're a giver, you give out, and you feel you can heal, you can help heal someone, you can make them better. It's almost like that nurturing part of you is just sort of, oh, here we go, I can help you. Yeah, but actually, the only person who can help you is yourself. The only person that can help him is himself. You can't do that. You are neither responsible to do that. Yeah? He is responsible for himself. Don't let guilt hold you back from what you know is right. Okay, all right, I'll leave it there. Sending you love.